Thank you. Thank you so much. So, welcome everyone to Pune User Group's new series. This is an initiative for everyone who's trying to prepare for certification exams in OutSystem. So, this is the first session of this series, which is Mastering Architecture Specialist Certification Exam. So, here you'll get some tips and tricks to master this certification exam. Thank you so much for joining. Um, So agenda is very simple. It is not going to be like the usual sessions. It is that we have the agenda very clear, right? We are going to give you some tips and tricks to prepare for the exam. So it will be slightly different than other sessions. We'll have the technical session where the speaker will help you, will give you some tips and tricks, and then if you have any questions, we'll discuss that. No quiz, no, nothing like that. Okay. So, on behalf of user group session, we have Shubham also with us. So, I welcome you all to the session. All of you know about OutSystems community. It is a big community of developers and it is growing and growing. We have almost 820K plus members. Okay, and it is constantly increasing, right? um, Now you can okay, ODC training. So if you have not yet you're not certified for ODC, you can they are providing 10 days training license training environment. Okay, where you can just complete the course in that environment and you will get an hands-on experience on ODC. Okay, so you just need to go to guided path and search for from O11 to ODC, and you can deploy or develop your applications in ODC environment. Okay. Okay. Then developer schools. Developer schools are back. Public developer schools. If you have someone who's interested in learning out systems, a person, but this time the person should be having minimum 2 years, I guess, 2 years of experience. That's what I know. He or she should belong to technical background and they should have 2+ years of experience. It can be any other field, but if they're interested in learning OutSystems, you can refer to them. Go to the OutSystems website and you'll find public developer schools. Okay, they can join it for free. These developer schools are for free, and if they are regular, if the attendance is proper, they need to be present for every session. If they are regular, they will get a voucher also, associate voucher to clear the associate reactive certification. So right now these developer schools are for reactive only. Okay, so you can refer to them. You can also refer someone, and if you are referring, they were offering a voucher earlier. I am not sure this time, as this year, is there any change or not. I'll make sure to know and let you know, okay, about it. Research programs. So we have OutSystems have different research programs going on. You can register for them for these research programs if you are interested, and then they'll get back to you whenever there's a research program going on, and you can participate. Okay, and you will be rewarded for participation also. Pune User Group organizer. So we have Khizar. Khizar is one of the he was the first organizer of user group. um, he is very experienced, like 15+ years of experience in the industry. Then I am Neha Sheikh. I am working at Zebia, and I'm working as senior consultant and trainer at Zebia. And then we have Shubham. He is also one of the user group, Pune user group organizer, works in Zebia as a senior consultant and trainer, but he's also one of the top mentors, okay, in ADP list. So you can get in touch to him also for on ADP list, right? Okay. And the event speaker, we have Krishnambal. I'm sure many of you must be knowing her already. So she is one of the most experienced person in OutSystems. And you guys must be knowing her for so long for taking user group sessions. She's very popular with it, and she's an MVP from last 2 years. Extremely knowledgeable, and she has lots of certifications under her belt. So We have Krishna Ambal with us. Thank you so much, Krishna, for joining with us and taking the session. Okay, let's get started with the session now. Over to you, Krishna. Let me
Okay,
stop sharing.
okay. I believe my voice is clear to everyone, right? And my video is clear as
Yeah.
well. Awesome. Okay. So thank you so much everyone for joining the session. So today, like Neha had rightly mentioned, we will be focusing on the tips and tricks around architecture, specialization, how to prepare, what to check, what not to check, and how to, and some things that can have a good value add to your preparation journey. And I don't think so we will be going into the details of the specializations or the curriculum of it, like the discovery tool or the patterns. No, we won't be teaching you any of it during the session, but we will just be keeping the session high level so that we can wrap everything in an hour. So what we are going to do is how can you prepare, okay, and the steps, it would be not just for architecture specialization, but you would find it useful for preparing all the other certifications or specializations, okay. And if you are someone who is new, I believe it will be very very useful to you. And if you're someone who is kind of experienced, I will say you would find certain content a little repetitive, but again, you can listen to it. Who knows, you would get to understand or remember certain details that you might have forgotten, right? So quickly, let's jump on to today's topic: how to prepare. Let me share my screen. 1 minute. Okay, one more thing. So when, yeah, right. Okay. So I believe my screen is visible to all of you. Now,
Yes.
when we think of preparing for the certification, okay, the first thing that we have to do is visit the certification page, the official OutSystem certification page, okay, and download the exam details and the exam details that is associated with that certification, because OutSystems pretty much provides you everything that is needed, for you to prepare for the exam. So you don't have to look into any other website, but everything is there within the OutSystems portal, okay, your OutSystems account. So go there. So all you need to do is just log into your OutSystems portal, go to training, click on certifications, and here, you will find the list of certifications. And if you have already appeared for it, then this is how the it would be conveyed that you have completed it. And still, although you have completed a certification, you will still be able to download exam details, okay. So here, since we are focusing majorly on the architecture specialization exam for O11, what we will do, we will first download the exam details associated with the architecture specialization, okay. So let me download it. Now, if we open this downloaded file, this is how the downloaded file would look like, where we will have 4 folders: English, Japanese, Portuguese, Spanish. This is not just for architecture specialization. If you download or click on the exam details for any of the certification, the folder structure would be the same. Now, OutSystems has, so these 4 folders are nothing but the same content in different languages. So for now, we will be going or sticking to only the English folder, as I believe English is the primary source of language that we use in the OutSystems user group. Then we have these additional 2 documents. Okay, so after downloading the exam detail page, the second thing is check if, before getting into the details, okay, check if you are eligible to appear for that certification or specialization. So for you to appear for the architecture specialization exam, okay, you must be reactive certified, right? So firstly, if you, this document, right, this would provide you this certification program file would pretty much give you an idea of your journey with the certifications. So if you go through this sheet here, where we are in architecture specialization, right? So for us to appear for this, as you can see, associate reactive developer certification is a prerequisite. So you must complete this before appearing for the specialization exam. And specialization is different, and I'm sure most of you would have got specialization vouchers, or currently the trend that is going on, or the community team trying, whatever the community team is trying to promote is they are promoting events via specialization vouchers. Okay, specializations are different from certifications. So the associate reactive developer exam, or these exams which has a red badge associated with it, those are certifications, and the yellow ones are specializations. So for you to complete or appear for architecture specialization exam, you must firstly be reactor certified. Now, if we take a closer look at this particular specialization, we also get a high level tip on how to prepare for this exam. Okay, which is either go for the base architecture bootcamp, or you go for the architecting sustainable applications guided path. Okay, similarly, you will get an understanding of all the other certifications. One thing is, see, for this journey, most of you will be clear, but for other certifications that belong to the other domains, say platform ops. Okay, for a for a quite a long time, I thought in order to appear for platform ops, I have to complete associate reactive. But later, then I got to know that no, we don't need it, right? So many of you would have such confusion. So better take a look at this certification program sheet to understand the eligibility, or the high level overview of how many certifications are, what is your journey, where you are, what would you like to appear for next, right? Which one would be suited for your career path, right? So you will get a high level understanding here. Now, this is all about the certification program part. In addition to this document, you will also find the other deck or other document called How to Prepare for the Exam. Right? So let's take a look at it. Now, this again, this is not into preparation. This document is majorly for you to understand how will the exam be taking place, or how can you appear for the exam. Right? Is it going to be virtual, or is it going to be via an exam center? Right? Everything around appearing for the exam without any hassles is provided here. I understand this document is very lengthy, but I highly recommend you to go through this or skim this document at least once. I'm not asking you to go through this document every time for every certification or specialization exam, but just go through it at least once, because missing these details often make people end up losing their certification attempt. Okay, so that I was into training for quite a long time. Okay, for 3 full years, and I have seen, say, more than 20 plus people losing their vouchers just because they either they were not sure what to do if their connection just lost abruptly, or when they would be taking their exam from their office and somebody accidentally barges into the exam room, right? So there are certain instances where you won't be able to recover your voucher, or you won't out systems would not let you reappear with the same voucher code. Okay, so this is very important for you to understand what is permissible, what is permissible, and what is not. Because in my case, what I thought was, in earlier, okay, when earlier I carried a water bottle. Later, I came to know that a water bottle is not allowed. But last year, when I appeared for the exam, I thought the same thing. Later, yeah, I was turning very dizzy. Okay, and only when after interacting with the proctor, they said no, you can have some water, maybe in a transparent glass. Right? I then regretted that I should have noted, or all these details are already provided in this particular sheet in detail. So I regretted the decision. Later, I thought maybe I should have gone through this sheet once. Then I would have maybe taken the necessary things, or I would have been able to leverage things that are in my scope, like carried a bottle, or carried a transparent glass, or have some water in place, like such things. Okay, so go through this at least once. Go through this document at least once. Now, this is about the two documents that we have. Now, we will get into the details on the preparation tips. Okay. open the English sheet, there are two things. One is the detail sheet, the other one is the sample exam sheet. Now, my recommendation is you are done downloading the exam details, and then you know that you are now eligible for appearing for architecture specialization. Now, what's next? So, I would say, as individuals, we will be more interested towards attempting an exam, right? Rather than going through details, preparing for it, we will find that to be a little more boring, or that we will find it a little not a very interesting way to learn things. So what I normally do is, when I start preparing for an exam, firstly I'll attempt the sample exam. Okay, I'll attend the sample exam. I'll try to understand where I am before starting the preparation. Okay, this will give me an understanding of how much do I have to prepare. So recently I appeared for the exam. I guess it was for architecture specialization ODC. Okay, and I appeared for the sample exam. That was the first thing. Out of 10 questions, I kind of got 7 questions right. Okay, the remaining three, I got it wrong. So then I realized, okay, and then I was not able to understand why those questions were wrong. I thought this is the right answer, right? But then only after properly preparing for the exam, I realized, okay, this is the right answer. So my recommendation is attend the sample exam and have the scores, or wherever you're attempting or noting down the question and answer, have it in a place where you can refer to later also, okay, maybe in a notebook or so. So take the exam, check the answers, check the questions that you have answered right, put a cross to those questions which you have answered wrong. Attempt the sample exam before starting the preparation. Okay, so that I believe would be the third step. Okay, then the fourth step would be the actual preparation. So would be the exam detail sheet. Now open the exam detail sheet. Now some of you may be wondering, with this certification details screen is very high level, how will you know that this is a prerequisite for this? This is not direct, right? So you don't have to worry, because all possible information is provided in this one sheet called exam detail sheet. Okay, and even if you need a high level information on how would you be taking the exam and all that, even that will be provided in the exam detail sheet. Now, the exam detail sheet is the most important artifact for you to prepare for any certification. Without this, your preparation journey can't start. You can keep it that way. Okay, so this is more of a Bible for you to prepare for your certification exam. It will have everything A to Z on where you are, what you need to do, okay, and where is it, everything. Now, the first line itself conveys that you must have completed or obtained associate reactive developer certification for you to be eligible for the architecture specialization exam. Okay, then the exam format is a multiple choice question. Number of questions would be 30, and you would need at least 70% to pass the exam. Okay, just 21 questions out of 30 questions should be right. Exam duration is 90 minutes. And okay, now before getting into or going to the next stage of the specialization exam detail sheet, what I would like to convey is, as the severity of the exam increases, okay, the length of the questions in the actual exam would also increase, at least to some extent. So the questions wouldn't be direct. All the questions would be scenario based. For architecture specialization, from what I remember, there were direct questions. There were significant number of direct questions. Okay, back in 2022, that was in April 2022 was when I appeared for my architecture specialization exam. That was when it was launched newly. So it's been 2 years, but from my experience with architecture specialization ODC, what I can convey is some questions were direct. Okay, out of 30 questions, say 10 questions will definitely be direct. 15 questions will be kind of direct or easy. The remaining 15 questions, they will be based on a scenario, or they will be lengthy. So you must manage, or you must take the time to read the questions thoroughly. Some questions, I wouldn't say it wouldn't be difficult. Okay, these questions, they will only be very lengthy. That's all. They will scare you, but the answer, it would be kind of easy for you to identify the answer. Okay, so manage your time properly when you're appearing for the exam, especially when for the web developer specialization exam, almost all the questions were very lengthy. So the time was a major constraint when it came to the web developer specialization exam. But with architecture specialization, be it for O11 and ODC, from what I remember, time shouldn't be a problem. You should be able to easily complete everything, say within 60 minutes, within an hour. Okay. Now moving on. Okay. So this is like a high level overview, okay, of what should you be preparing. Now this is the most important part, which is the blueprint. Outsystems exams, or the question pattern will be definitely based on this blueprint. So you don't have to worry that here they have mentioned four. Okay, I have not prepared this topic. Say for example, domain level architecture design, right? So I have not prepared this topic. Will I be getting questions on it? Now, okay, if it's not in the blueprint, then you won't be getting those questions. Okay, if it's a completely irrelevant topic, say I have not taken a look at say deployment. Okay, do I have to take a look at deployment, or I do not have a clear idea on some basics. Okay, so if you are not sure whether you have to prepare for that topic or not, refer to the blueprint. Actually it's a like a, yeah, so there is also a degree of relevance and irrelevance on the topic that you are worried about, but to keep things short, I would say just validate it with blueprint. Okay, then the next thing is, you would also be needing the blueprint to prepare. So most of you will be confused whether you need to go through the guided path or the links that are provided in the exam details. Coming there, let's go one by one. So this is the blueprint. Now scrolling down, the best way to prepare for architecture specialization exam is either the base architecture bootcamp or follow the guided path, architecting sustainable application. Now also they have mentioned one more bootcamp here, which is advanced developer bootcamp. We also encourage you to study the topics listed in the online resource section. You go back. So either you can, this is common for all the certifications, either you can go for a proper boot camp, which is an instructor-led boot camp. It is paid, by the way. Okay, it's not pocket friendly. These boot camps are costly, of course. Or the other way would be to go for the guided path. Now, when it comes to architecture, or architecture is the only topic which is covered in two boot camps. One is base architecture boot camp, the other one is advanced developer boot camp. Now, I don't think so most of you would be opting for a boot camp, but if you are, then I highly recommend you to go for the advanced developer boot camp. Because attempting this boot camp, you will be eligible to, you will get the knowledge that is necessary to appear for the architecture specialization exam, plus the web developer specialization exam. So you will get the knowledge of two specializations just by attending one boot camp, which is the advanced developer boot camp. So go for it if you are actually planning to pay for an instructor-led boot camp and learning. Okay. And the next obvious option is the guided path, which is the most common option that all of us go for, right? So let's take a look at the guided path. Now, clicking on the link, this is where I land on to. Okay. Now, in some of the exam details sheet, they would have just provided a guided path link, okay, which is more than enough for you to prepare. For reactive, for the associate level certifications, the guided path alone would be enough. But as the severity increases, or as you move on to the next level of specialization, or if you take, say, example, platform of certification, right? The guided path, wouldn't be enough, or it would have things, many things where only subset of the topics covered in the guided path is needed for your exam, and the remaining things you need to refer to by going through some online articles. So you have to be first very sure whether the guided path itself would be enough or not. So for that, what you need to do is, so this is the guided path. These are the topics that the guided path provides, right? Now you need to compare these topics with the blueprint. Check if the blueprint topics are covered in the guided path. So this has architecture canvas, right? So let's see. Architecture canvas. So I have architecture canvas here under OutSystems architecture framework. Similarly, architecture design, right? I have architecture design here, designing an architecture. We also have an example here. Then validation, refactoring. To keep things short, I did this validation before as while preparing for this session. And I have to say all these topics that are mentioned in the blueprint, it is covered in the guided path. So you don't have to worry. 1 minute. Yeah. So all the topics that are covered, I mean that is provided in the blueprint, it's covered in the guided path. So the guided path is wholesome. So it is not missing any topics. Okay, so that is assured. And here, what I observed was, so sometimes the guided path will have additional content, which is not necessary for a certification. Okay, so this guided path also has some extra topics which you should be knowing already, or which is like more of a revision of the already covered topics, or could be a duplication, right? So this guided path has such content. What are those? So the OutSystems overview section and the Service Studio overview section. So as someone who has cleared the reactive developer exam, right? So you should already be having a good understanding of these two topics. So you can skip these two and you can directly start from designing apps using an architecture framework. Okay, so this is important. You have to go through this topic fully. Validating an architecture, yes, this is important. You have to completely go through this as well. Same with architecture patterns. Same with mobile application, style guide, refactoring. So all these are definitely needed, from designing apps to refactoring application. You will definitely be needing, you need this knowledge for your exam. So please go through all these thoroughly. And earlier, when earlier we used to have the document also, whatever the content that is being covered. Yeah. So if you go through 1 minute. So for these videos, there are two alternatives. If you are someone who is really good with listening, then definitely go for the video. I highly recommend you to go through the video at least once. So if you have good amount of time to prepare, then definitely go for the video. Listen to the video thoroughly and complete the video. And also, if you pay attention, they have also provided you pauses. Okay, when the session moves to the next step or the next item in the agenda, you'll be able to see that difference here in the video play bar. Okay, so
Welcome to
first
the
I will
lesson
click
on
this,
Base Style Guide.
and
Arc
then when
is
I
a
click on this,
tool
the
and a
next topic
guide for
gets started for
UX,
this time.
UI design. OutSystems use.
Okay, so this will be really helpful. And also when you hover through, and if you are going to do a quick revision, okay, then if you hover through the progress bar, you will see the transition of slides, as you can see. So you can directly, so that way you will know in which at what time what topic is covered. So you can directly click on that particular question and you can play the video. Okay, that will definitely save you a lot of time, particularly when you're revising. Plus, there is lesson material download option. So I downloaded the lesson material. Let's see what the lesson material already has. So this lesson material has the PDF format of the content that was covered in the video. So if you are running out of time, okay, you only have say 3 hours of time for your exam, but you have 2 full topics to be studied, then the fastest approach would be to download the lesson material and quickly skim through the material. Okay, this is again a very handy feature that OutSystems provides. Yes, if you want to download a video, if you're traveling somewhere, and you don't have a proper network connection, still, if you want to download the video, of course, you can download it and watch it later. And the other options, which is definitely if you feel the video is lacking something, or if you feel there is a topic that can be added, if you're very sure about it, do take some time to provide feedback. Okay, this will highly be useful for people who will be preparing for the exam in future. And of course, okay, fine. Now coming to the relevance or validating the different topics. Okay, so OutSystems overview, I like I said, you can skip OutSystems overview, Service Studio overview, and then coming to the last 2 sessions, you can actually skip the last session, which is the domains and services, which is nothing but a video of 30 minutes of a live session. Okay, that was recorded earlier.
Scenario 1, no mission critical.
You can skip this video, to be honest, because as someone, to me at least, a video should have a proper clarity in audio, right? And OutSystems provided videos are top notch. They have a very clear audio. You can download lesson material like we saw now, right? And we will also be able to see the clear partitions of content, right? All that is available. Now in this video, the main problem is the audio is not very clear. It's very feeble. Okay, and the content covered is I would say I wouldn't say it is irrelevant, but if you are running out of time, then you can very well skip this video. Okay, that the guided path provides. You should be good, because this is already covered. Whatever is covered here is more of a prerequisite information for you to relate to the architecture concepts better. Okay, and some portions are things that are already covered as part of the other topics like patterns, style guide, all that. So you can skip this. Now this one, best practices on architecture design. This one I would say you don't have to skip it if you have a day's time. Okay, this actually has valuable information, but this is more of a summary of what was covered in the other topics, which is like the architecture design steps, right? Or the architecture patterns. So this is more of a summary video of all the topics that is covered in this guided path. So if you have time, definitely recommended to go through this. The one thing that I really liked about this video, which I felt could be more useful, is this part where they are taking an example. Okay, the trainer is taking an example. As an agent, I want to handle my customer claims. If this is a requirement, then these are the 3 modules you need to create. So this is nowhere mentioned in the guided path. So in the guided path, you will definitely see architecture canvas, the purpose of each layer, right? But it's highly important for you to attempt designing the architecture for one use case at least. And the problem with architecture design is there is no right or wrong. Okay, so your architecture could be different from your friends, but both of your architecture designs could be right? So you have to at least try designing architecture for one of the instances, maybe from any of your projects, okay, or maybe you will find many use cases in the web. So try designing architecture at least once. So what this video does is it takes a use case and they are the trainer is providing you the modules that has to be created for that particular requirement. So as an agent, I want to handle my customer claims. So what are the different modules you, not modules, but what are the concepts that you will be disclosing out of this, right? So it eventually evolves. Okay, this use case eventually evolves, and then we position the created modules. Okay, now you are assembling it, and finally you will be positioning it in the 3-layer canvas. So this is the major differentiator between an architecture instructor-led bootcamp and the guided path. So the guided path does not have an example, a real-time example that you can solve. While if you go for an instructor-led bootcamp, you will have exercises, okay, that comes as part of the bootcamp, which you may have to solve. Okay, and they will provide you a use case, and you will be designing the architecture. Then the instructor will be validating your architecture or provide feedback to the architecture design that you came up with. So if you have to go for the free guided path, then this is the best way that you can do, which is, if you don't have the patience to listen to the entire video, at least attempt this first part, or at least listen to the use case that the person is saying, note it down, design your architecture and validate your architecture with this diagram. Okay, and then the other parts, it's just the similar ones that you might have come across in these sections. Okay. Okay. Now, the fourth or fifth step would be to understand if the guided path has the sufficient content that is needed for you to prepare. For architecture specialization, yes, it does. The guided path is wholesome. Although you can skip the last video and the first 2 videos. And this one, the first half or the first 30 minutes alone, you can. First 30 minutes, I guess the first, till this break point. Till this part, right? You can very well go through it. It's very much
But feel
required.
free to adjust this form to any form that makes sense for your company.
Yeah. Okay, then moving on to the exam details screen. We have preparation, we are done with this. Then we also have articles. So it's your you need to decide. The guided path itself has the content that is mentioned in the blueprint. So in this case, it's fine if you are very much thorough with the guided path content alone. And of course, you need to watch the last video, the best practices of architecture design video also that I just mentioned. So the guided path itself is wholesome. The online material, the articles, if you have time, do take a look at it. Okay, for architecture specialization, this is the case. But for other certifications like platform ops, you have to go through the online articles. Guided path will not be sufficient. Okay, but here it's sufficient. Then registration, rescheduling. So if you have to attempt an exam, if you have to schedule it, then yeah, you will be having this option. So front-end developer specialization, O11 and ODC. Okay. Yeah. This one I'm yet to appear for. So I'll have this option, which is prepare for exam. The other one is schedule. So if I click on schedule, I'll be asked to so I will prefer to take the exam. So this is how you need to schedule your exam. Just click on schedule exam and go ahead, pre-register. So since this is the first session of the certification series, so I feel it's essential for us to take a look at this step also. So you click on schedule exam, right? Go through these steps, click on next, provide your consent, click on next. Minus IST, GMT plus 550, so 28484. Click on next. Now, guys, remember the timing that Proctor uses is in the 24-hour format. from my experience, I've seen at least 10 people appearing late for the exam or being late for the exam because in India the 12-hour format is very relevant. So if it's 2, then people often think it's 2 p.m. Instead, it would have been 2 a.m. So they would have missed their attempt. Okay, and they would have lost their vouchers. So please be very careful while scheduling the exam. So the scheduled exam will be in the 24-hour format and not in the 12-hour format. And personally, I prefer to appear for my certification exams in my mornings. Preferable time would be somewhere between 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. because morning suits me. I am a lot calmer and I have the clarity. So I would prefer the mornings, but whatever the time slot that best suits for you, go for it. I'm selecting 11:45, reserve test time, and then schedule appointment. One other important information is in my recent attempt, even I made this mistake where my name is actually in India or in basically in the southern part of India, we don't have surnames. Okay, we just have initials. So my actual name is Krishnambal S. So my profile, my OutSystems profile had my name as Krishnambal S. But all my ID proofs, my Aadhaar card, my not my driving license, but I guess my Aadhaar card, my passport, all that had my name to be Krishnambal Sundaram. So there was a discrepancy. So the proctor asked me to exit the exam. He asked me to bring me an ID proof where my name is Krishnambal S. So I had a hard time. Okay? And later my driving license helped me. Although this again is a very crucial information or detail that you must be very careful about, where your name in the your OutSystems profile name should be exactly the same as what you have in your ID proof. Whatever you're going to take for your exam, the ID proof, it's going to be a passport. Make sure the name in the passport is exactly the same as the one in your OutSystems profile. Now you won't be able to edit your name here. Okay, if there is a discrepancy, then go to your OutSystems profile, edit your profile, change your name there. Now later after that instance, I changed or I updated my name in my profile to Krishnambal Sundaram and all that, and then I give my company name, give my number. On so this is the summary. Now I need to pay $100. So if you have a voucher code, I believe voucher code is the most common means with which people appear for exams, OutSystems certifications. So if you have a voucher code, then paste the voucher code, click on apply and click on next. Okay, I don't have one. So at the moment, I would just wish to cancel things right here. So let me close the tab. So this is how you have to schedule the exam. Okay. Now we have almost 10 minutes left. 1 minute. Closed the window. So the other details, please go through it. The specialization version, repeating the exam, taking the exam. Take some time to go through this part as well if you have not gone through it at least once. Okay, and I would also be recommending one important thing. It works, it depends. Okay, it varies between person to person, but when you have a voucher, okay, and if you are planning to prepare for it for an exam, so if I am someone who would prefer scheduling the exam first and preparing for it, so that I will have the urge to prepare, otherwise I'll keep postponing. Okay, or if you're someone similar to me, then schedule the exam first and then start preparing. But there is a risk involved here, which is you won't be able to reschedule the exam for free if it's like less than for 15 days. If you are left with only 15 days from the day of exam, then you would have to pay like 25 USD. So at once for my platform ops exam, I had to do this. I had to pay 25 USD and then reschedule the exam. But I highly recommend you to stick to the schedule that you had chosen earlier. And then you won't be able to reschedule the exam if you only have less than 48 hours from the time when you have scheduled your exam. So please be careful there. Now, when it comes to taking the exam, you can either take it from your home, then you may have to in detail go through the Prometric user guide, or you can also attempt your exam from test centers, which is the ideal way for you to appear for the specialization or certification exams. For details, you can very well go through the remaining part. Okay. So now you have gone through the exam details, you have completed your preparation, right? The next step would be to reattempt the sample exam. So whatever you had, reattempt the sample exam and see if there is an improvement in your score. Okay, this way you will be able to understand how much have you learned about this course or this certification. Okay, and one more thing is maybe you can, when you are preparing, do a two-time glance. This actually works for me all the time. I don't go through a guided path course just once. Okay, I go through it twice. First time I don't take any notes. I just tried my best to understand what they are trying to say. The second time I will know whether it is something notable worthy or not, whether is it something that I have to remember or not, right? So the second time I start taking notes, so that I have only a limited content noted, so that I can quickly skim through it before my exam starts. Okay, so this two-time revision definitely helps. At least it helped me clear my exams in the first instance itself. So I recommend the same to all of you. Okay, so yeah, with this I am almost done with my tips to ace your architecture specialization exam. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, we have some questions in the Q&A section, Krishna. First one is, in case of lost the internet connection in between giving certification exam, how to resume it?
1 minute, yeah. Lost the internet connection. Okay, so if you have lost the internet connection, I'm sure all of us have mobile phones now. The main tip that I would like to give is resume the exam as early as possible. At once I also lost internet connection, but then I connected with my mobile data and I resumed the exam, say in 5 minutes. Okay, that way the proctor was able to recover my session. I was not asked too many questions. Now, in 5 minutes, in the sense, I started joining in 5 minutes, but after all the proctor validation and everything, it took again another 30 minutes. Later, I was able to resume. So, yeah, good. Stick to the same way. So you'd have received an exam link via an email as soon as you schedule your exam, an appointment confirmation email. Click on that link, resume the exam again like you had started.
Okay,
Anything else?
thank you, Krishna. Second question is, other than vouchers, what are the
Mhm.
payment options? Like,
Oh, okay. I don't know. I guess debit cards and credit cards should be applicable. What I know, but what you can do is like I try scheduling an exam now, right? You better try scheduling one. You will get to know whether debit. From what I know, it should be debit cards and credit cards should be allowed. All right. Any
okay.
other questions?
Any other questions, guys?
Okay, fine then. I believe all of you are good, but yes, Neha, and of course, yes, Neha has an equal or more amount of expertise in here when it comes to certifications or mentoring someone for a certification. So, Neha, do you have any tips?
Okay. I think Krishna has covered most of the things. One thing from my experience is when you are learning about any topic, right? Any certification exam, there are words like understand everything very clearly. For example, one concept is data mashup. I didn't know what was this concept, okay, and I just ran through over that sentence. I thought, okay, I know what I remember what the sentence was, and I just went through that sentence, and I know I didn't knew the concept, okay, but in the exam, they asked something related to data mashup only. So if you didn't know any concept, right, Google it. We have ChatGPT, which is a very good source. Just type what is data mashup, okay, and ChatGPT will give you exactly, in a very simple words. It will explain you the sentence, the term. So my experience is, if you found a term that you're not aware of it, please research. Please get to know what it is, right, and how it is related to the context that you are learning, because definitely that will come, okay, that question will come, and you have to, and it will not come directly, right, they'll ask you a scenario based question or something around that concept, right. Chat gpt is very useful. Paste it and learn about it. Even for my latest exam, I appeared for platform ops. There were many concepts for which I searched, so it will be very very good for you. That's it.
Of course, of course. And one more important detail which I missed during the session was since it's about architecture specialization, right? So, like I said, we are missing a real time example in guided path. Similarly, there are two things that are not missing, but that would need an extra effort from you, which is you must have or you must attempt analyzing Discovery and AI Meta Studio. So in the guided path, all you have is just a 2 minutes video and say 4 to 5 quiz questions. That's it. But Discovery tool is much more than that. AI Mentor Studio, yes, but Discovery tool is where you will be validating the architecture and all of it, right? So you must attempt um, taking a peek into the Discovery tool or an actual Discovery tool. Okay, that you may have that you may be having, or you can very well install a Discovery tool from Forge to your personal environment and take a look at it. Similarly with AI Mentor Studio, but for AI Mentor Studio, for now, for architecture specialization, what you can do is, yeah, maybe I'll just quickly share my screen. For architecture specialization, what you can do is access your AI Mentor Studio and select the category to architecture. Okay, and you will come across a lot of violations or problems here. End user module providing services, right? So the module or the module type, although it could have been a core module, you could have the capability to add screens. That's why this particular concern is being raised. So similarly, you will find a lot of problems. So going through each pattern or problem and seeing how it impacts and how to fix, this is a very very important learning. Although it's not essential or very much mandatory for your certification, but for you to handle a real-time project or for you to lead one, this knowledge is very very essential. So take some time to go through the AI Mentor Studio and discover it. Okay, so with this, yeah, I am done with today's session and we are almost time. So thank you so much, Neha and Shubham, for giving me the opportunity to speak today's session.
Thank you so much, Krishna, for taking the session. Yes, Shivani had a question, I guess. Um, it's like I had a couple of problems attempting my last exam on my organization laptop due to certain configs. Is it recommended to use personal machines for exam?
Actually, yes, that's a very nice question, Shivani. That's a very nice question. Even I had a hard time, in fact, with my previous exam where I was not able to appear. Earlier, I used to. So I've completed around, say, 10 to 11 certifications. I don't remember the count, but the first 10 all of those I attempted from my office laptop. Okay, but there were no restrictions. But now Prometric has increased the uh, so the installable or anything, there is a change. So now with office laptop, even I was not able to appear for my exam, so I had to appear for my exam from a personal laptop. So yeah, I completely agree with you. And in my case, only personal laptop worked, at least with my last attempt. For my previous attempts, yes, my office laptop worked. So recommendation is to appear for your certification exam from a machine where you have the fullest access. So yeah, and to come into the details where I was not able to, the proctor interview was done, the prerequisites, the software requirement, hardware requirement, network requirement, all was completely all green for me. The proctor did his validation. Later I was then then the next proctor also joined. Right till then my session was on, but then when they started or launched the exam to me, right, that is when I got a pop-up saying you may be missing some configurations. There was some error. Okay, and then I was given only one option, which was to cancel. When I clicked on cancel, I was kicked out of the exam. So this happened thrice. Later, I attempted from my husband's laptop. That also did not work out. Then I had to opt for my personal laptop. That is when I was able to appear for the exam. So, thank you for asking this question, Shivani.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Krishna, for answering that.
Thank you so much, team. Yeah. Happy weekend. Bye.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for joining the session. Right. And before going, if you all can come on videos, if that is possible. Before leaving the session, we don't have a quiz, so that's the end of our session, right? But if you all can come on video just for uh, taking some pictures, and then we can end the session. Thank you so much. Request everyone to please come on video. Shubham,
Taking the photograph.
please come on video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not feeling good today actually, but yeah.
Koi nahi, it's okay.
Okay, I've taken your pictures. Thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Krishna.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Happy weekend.